Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FB4. It's Sunday, it's the 15th of September. Matt has gone into complete convulsions of laughing. Grizz is trying to explain the difference between two countries here to us, and it's fucking amazing. And we have to leave it there. I would have loved to have that live, but we really, really can't. What are we going to do tonight? Well, I suppose we're going to have to talk about Liverpool.
Follow the agenda, mate.
I'll follow the agenda that never showed up, Chris.
Check what's up. Please spend all our doing us an agenda.
You did.
I don't think you did.
Here we go. You did. Team selection.
Yeah.
You don't need to fucking read it out.
Followed by a slow start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else?
Do it.
Yeah.
Divock Origi, Bobby.
Never seen it.
And Bobby.
Never seen it.
And Napoli.
Never seen it. Anyway, listen, lads, let's get into it. Liverpool are 5 from 5, 15 points from 15. The rest are faltering. Liverpool are flying. But the first thing, Matt, is the lineup. A lot of people expected one or two changes. Did any of them surprise you? Because I thought Fabinho starting did.
No, not really for me. The midfield, we've got quite a strong bunch now. I'm happy for bunch now. And those defenders drop out, Fabinho's come in. I don't think Fabinho played, or he didn't play the last full game. He didn't play the same minutes as Bobby, so that's why he Yeah, exactly. So it was alright. Maybe they assess when gets back jet lag or the travel, but the actual playing time wouldn't have been travel. The actual playing time. We've got what 7 games, 29 days. So 21 even. It's good. Nice. So we're going to see a lot of rotations. We're going to see a lot of rotations. We've got a lot of games coming up. So don't expect the same midfield again for a few games. It's just going to be in and out. The only person that might Fabinho. But you can see rest, especially in the cup game. But yeah, none of that was surprising for me.
Grizz, did any of them surprise you? Myself and yourself watched the game yesterday, and I don't think I remember you saying you were surprised by any of these changes, or you disagreed with them. Am I wrong in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Chris told me for the match that Ronaldo both out.
No,
both out.
What I was surprised with, and because both of you were drunk, so both what I was surprised with was Ginny starting. I was because Ginny's played. I was drunk. He's played.
You just Fabinho.
Fabinho's going to start. I didn't think Ginny was, but then, as you rightly said, it's very rare that he goes without Ginny and Endo. So that was my guess with his injury problem, and Ginny's flying at the moment. We'll probably get later in terms of personal performances. But yeah, Ginny surprised me as a team gapped itself. The rest of the team picked itself. Div coming in for Bobby. That was Bobby that expected. Some people anticipate Jack starting. Unless there was a formation change, where there might be a formation change. I didn't see Shaq starting either, but the rest of them itself.
Yeah, I thought genuinely you'd see Robertson get a break at left back. I genuinely thought that would happen with the two hard games he had. I picked Henderson over Fabinho simply because of the travel from Fabinho. I know he only played 25 odd minutes for Brazil, probably on the Wednesday night. But listen, this is the squad, isn't it? This is what we have to do. This is the way we have to go about things now. So, Matt, the game starts and Newcastle get 1-0 up. And to be honest with you, it didn't bother me whatsoever. Grizz got a bit upset. I didn't see the goal. I was out having a smoke. It happened to me 4 times. I went for 4 smokes and I missed 4 goals. So Grizz has told me if we need a goal in the last 5 minutes of the game, he said just go out and have 20 cigarettes and we'll win the league. But did it bother you at all going 1-0 down? Did you get overly worried about it?
Nah, mate, we actually. Me and my mates team. Then you're gonna panic. We just weren't bothered. It's the desire and the desire, the hope that Klopp's instilled, and just slowly just turning and screw, getting them deeper and deeper and deeper. And as soon as you get that break, that's it. They're going to crumble. And it didn't really take long to get that far either. I thought we played well. I thought the goal was lucky on there. They didn't do too much more. They didn't do too much more. Great touch. It was a great finish. Unbelievable finish. I don't think it was that bad defending. So for me, it wasn't a worry. I knew I knew front and Bobby on the bench that we'll be fine getting it back.
Yeah.
In fact, to back that up, I put £30 on Liverpool's win just after they scored.
Oh, you didn't.
I'll show you.
You reckon that you put that money on? Was it not Gary Bourne that put that money on? No
comment.
Oh, okay. Grizz, we go 1-0 down, and when it happens, you turn to me and you say, Gav, Alexander-Arnold should do a lot better and the keeper should save it. Do you still believe that after seeing it back?
No one's mentioned about the keeper. I still think Alisson saves that. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Adrian, but Gav, what I was really annoyed about, and you probably don't recall it because you was about Peroni number 48 by then, but I was annoyed with the start of the performance by Divock Origi, and it so happens that the lead up to that goal is from him losing possession, totally unforced. He's got Robertson on the overlap, and I don't know what he decides to try to do. And from there, they get the quick throw and lamp it up. And it's Virgil actually playing them on side. Trent could have been a bit tighter, but I don't think he expected that. I mean, he wanted that Williams fella to come in on his right foot because he's very left-footed. And I thought Adrian could have done better on the goal, but yeah. It was just a general first 20 minutes. I just thought we were atrocious. I thought it was our worst 20 minutes of the season so far. We were very slow, pedestrian. The passes were going astray. So, yeah, it was just a bit of annoyance. I wasn't worried as such. You got me when I was slightly annoyed. It wasn't worried or scared. It was just I was a bit annoyed with that first 20 minutes, yeah.
A few people have said there that the sound is slightly off. I've changed the sound now, so it should be absolutely spot on. Grizz, one thing that our Matt, I'm gonna put something to you that Grizz said to me yesterday. Oxlade-Chamberlain starts the game. A lot of people called for him to start the game, and Grizz felt he struggled throughout from start to finish. One or two bright spots in it, but seemed to struggle without. We're not great in the first half. Let's be honest. We are 2-1 up at half time, and we'll get into the goals in a minute. But did the combination of Origi starting along with Oxlade-Chamberlain starting, and neither of them really pulling up trees, it seemed to affect us an awful lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the two players separately, you look at Ox. We want him to hit the ground running and play like he was. You got to remember this lad's had a lot of time out, and it doesn't matter how many training sessions he plays, he's not going to get up to speed unless he gets minutes. Newcastle under Bruce are not a good team. It's perfect to put him in. You've got Fabinho and Gini next to him, to pretty much dead starters for us. There's no better midfield partnership or team to play against to get in minutes than Newcastle. You can't expect it, but when someone comes in like that, you've got to look at it and you've got to expect the passes to be off. You've got to expect them to be one or two touches slower than the rest. But that will come. There's no other way of getting around it. You have to give him minutes, so it's got to come somewhere. You can't wait for the League Cup. You can't wait for the FA Cup because the opposition isn't good enough. You've got to put him in against Premiership opposition and give him time. I mean, obviously you could say he wasn't up to speed, but that's a given. You can't expect him to be up to speed. No. Divock Origi, similar situation.
Yeah.
He hasn't had much. And to be fair, I don't particularly rate Origi as a player. He just scores for some fucking big goals. The problem with Origi is, where it's different than Ox, is the people he's replacing are world class. Like they are amongst the best in the world. So there's always going to be a drop off, and our expectations are so much higher when he does come in and he is a little bit slower or he doesn't give Robert that pass, then people are going to judge him on it. And it's harsh because he's not there and he's not going to be there.
Yeah, Mick says our midfield three have become workhorses where Ox isn't that type of player. I agree with you, Mick. I think he looks to impact stuff going forward, and get out of shape a little bit in order to try to do that, as opposed to the likes of Henderson and Wijnaldum, who pick their moments and know the shape inside out. Jimmy Maguire says the sound is spot on now. Great stuff. Stephen Mack says the Ox needs another 10 games to get in the groove. I'm presuming Matt will agree with you on that. And Origi does get injured early on. It just, Grizz, for you, watching the game, you just felt like the shape wasn't right, the way we were trying to play wasn't right, and I was surprised to see Mane down the centre early on. Were you?
Yeah, I made some brilliant points during the game, which
I was out having a smoke. I didn't hear them.
Which Klopp kind of sort of reiterated in the press conference, where he said sort of, that where we were kindly sort of, we were debating, weren't we, that will Mane play through the middle, or will it be Div, or will it be Mo? So, and it started off with Div on the left and Mane through the middle, and the issue with Divock is, in my opinion, and some people will love him for the amount of goals and the big goals, like Matt says, he scored, but I just don't think he's intelligent enough to play that role as good as Mane. Now, of course, not many people are as good or intelligent as Mane, but I just think he's either too central when he comes inside, or he's too wide. There's no in between. He doesn't know how to play in between those lines like Mane does or Bobby does. And I think we struggled because when he goes out wide, it sort of hinders Robertson's overlaps as well. And so therefore, did you know, as we noticed, we were discussing it, that Robertson wasn't able to overlap in that first 15, 20 minutes, because Origi was sort of occupying that space. And I just think, looking back, he got injured, so I'm not going to be overly harsh on him, because obviously he got that knock earlier on and it ended his game. The team shape and the fluidity slightly got better when he went through the middle and Mane went out wide. And that's where he gets his goal from, which I know everyone's talking about the Mo Salah goal and the Bobby goal. We'll probably go into the goals, but I thought it was such an underrated finish. I thought it's fucking absolute quality, that finish. But the shape and the fluidity came back when Mane went out left, and then obviously when Div goes off, it's a completely different game.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this last night, and if that's an away game, I think it suits Origi better. Because there's more space in an away game, because when you're away, the opposition come at you a little bit more, and he's more room to run into. I think he's good at running into space and chasing balls down and isolating defenders. But I think when you ask Origi to play those little passes around the corner, 1-2s and stuff like that, and you're dead right, Origi's out left there and he's smothering what Robertson usually does. Mane usually comes about 10 feet in off the touchline and makes that space for Robertson to move. That's why I think the big argument could have been for Shaqiri to start and just play him in Firmino's position. Just play him there and let him be the wall that he bounce off, the kind of bounce balls off and stuff like that. But it was something they tried. As Matt said, the opposition aren't great. All right to go 1-0 up, but we always seem to have enough. I was never concerned whatsoever. Matt Grizz has touched on the goal from Mane, and it's the first time Robertson kind of gets away and gets a bit of room, gets a break of the ball, shifts it into Mane, and it's one of those goals where you're looking at it, and he's done the same against Southampton, and he's done similar against Chelsea in the Super Cup. It's a real thing that Mane is making his own now, isn't it? These sort of finishes from that area in the box.
Yeah, he's just getting better and better. He creates everything, he chases everything, and he can finish. And he's probably just practicing that every day in training. We don't see it, but he knows he's going to be cutting in from the right, and he'll just practice all day long. So at the moment, he'll just get better and better at them. I can see him maybe outscoring Salah this year. But yeah, it's brilliant. What can you say about it? I mean, he's probably had everything said about that, his performances so far this season. So there's not much more we can say about Mane. It's just how lucky we are to be watching him in this team.
Mick says that Origi is an impact player, hard for him to start, and a couple more people have said that. I think it's a very fair point. But Origi has to go off. He injures himself down the left hand side early enough in the game. He he gets up, he gets on with it, but it gets the better of him. Grizz, and enter Bobby Firmino, and you could see the Newcastle players and fans, even it cut to the Newcastle fans while the sub was being made, and you could see them going, for fuck's sake. They thought we were getting away with this for a while, but Grizz, Mane is exceptional. Salah looked really good yesterday and tops it with a goal, but Bobby Firmino's performance yesterday, and I'm gonna stick on it for a little bit, was downright ridiculous, Chris. Absolutely ridiculous.
It was fun, wasn't it? He just brings a smile to your face as soon as he came on the pitch. Even you stopped going out for smokes.
Yeah, I couldn't go out for smoke because every time he had the ball. Yeah,
for about 7 minutes you stopped going for a smoke, because that's the kind of impact Bobby has on people and fans, and most importantly the team, Gav. You remember I made another fantastic point where I said, he's the Virgil van Dijk of our attack and the Fabinho of our midfield, in terms of he manages to sort of automatically, just with his presence, lift the performance and levels of the players around him. And, you could see, you could automatically see the difference in our short interplay, around the box, Gav, with the 1-2s and the touches, and just knowing of where Mo was going to be. And sort of Mo knew, if I give this ball to Bobby, where I need to make a pass, where I need to get the return, Bobby will give it. With Div, unfortunately, he doesn't know himself what he's going to do most of the time, so it's very difficult to work him out. But you could see Mane and Mo just absolutely lift their games to another level when he came on. Even the likes of Fabinho were able to fizz that ball into him, and they just knew it was going to be taken care of. And it's, you can. I wish, I wish there was cameras where we could zoom in on while Bobby's playing, because I'm pretty sure he's playing with a smile on his face like most of the time. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he's laughing his head off.
He's laughing his head off. I wish there was.
Trent misses a chance and he's laughing. He squares it to Mane to tap in, and it's given offside, and he's laughing. He's just Robertson. He flicks one over the top for Robertson, who just goes wide, and he's literally laughing at Robertson because he's missed it.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It was like it's how I used to play with my boys in the playground. You know what I mean? It was like just toying with them. He's actually toying with Premiership players.
Was this before or after the trials down in Brisbane Road?
Around that period. Around that period. But he's an absolute joy to watch. We always, because we're so good and there's hardly anything negative to talk about, sometimes we get into pointless discussions in terms of who's our favourite forward, for example.
Bobby.
And it's so hard to choose. Yeah, but then you see Mane.
Not from
Mane, and then you see Mo with his heroics against Chelsea. It's like so hard to choose.
Bobby.
It all comes down to personal choice. So, yours is Bobby. All right.
What's your favourite, man?
I like Bobby.
Yeah,
I love it when he's been on international duty. I just feel like he comes back with a little bit of samba in him, a little bit more than he went away with.
Yeah.
And you see more of the flicks and more of the outrageous stuff. But yeah, he comes on, the difference between him and Origi is Origi will pick up the ball and try and act as a striker. Bobby comes on and he's pulling defenders left, right and centre, and he's just creating the gaps. He's absolutely perfect for these two wingers, a left footer on the right and the right foot on the left. Bobby in that 9 is just perfect for them. All day long they will just run into all the gaps he creates. He doesn't even need to take a touch.
No.
The pass can come from midfield, it can come from Fabinho or Ox, but what he's done is he's moved the player. All defenders want to be in their line. They want the mates next to them. They want to be in the line with the midfield in front of them. We used to see it under Rodgers, where we used to pass the ball around from left to right, and it'd be 2 banks to 4 and you couldn't get through. What Bobby does, he lets people through. He opens up the doors to let people run in and go through, because he stands that's 5-6 yards away from the defender, making them come to him. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Do you know a lot of people were saying, who does he compare to? And like a lot of people have been saying, there's no one like him. And I was thinking, like, sort of in the past, someone who plays like him. And do you know who I remember playing? Probably before your guys' time too much.
Are you going to say yourself?
Zanetti?
No. Dennis
Bergkamp.
Dennis Bergkamp when he came to Arsenal. And it's very much like him, but the only difference was Bergkamp always played with Henry as a partner. The unique, phenomenal thing about Bobby is he actually plays that role on his own, if you know what I mean. Obviously, it's a slightly different system where
but Dennis Bergkamp isn't running back and tackling in the midfield. And
well, you say that, but he was known to tackle. He was
No, he wasn't.
he was
known to
known as a
tackle.
nasty
No,
little
he
fuck
wasn't.
when he wanted to be, but he wasn't
No,
throwing
he
tackle.
very much-
I put it
He
this
wasn't
way:
known to
if
tackle.
Dennis
You just
Bergkamp
made that up.
if Dennis
I've been
Bergkamp put in 20 tackles in his Arsenal career, I'd be very, very surprised.
I'm going to look at
I'll
this.
get onto my
I'm going to get these.
statistics.
Matt,
Obviously,
get
not the same
the
level.
stats up.
I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to
No, but
play and pause it and count all the pressing stats.
Yeah, can you just check Bergkamp's stats as well while you're there?
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
what I'm going to do.
No, listen. When he comes on, the thing for me is, and Matt touched on it. Salah and Mane were okay first 20-25. They were okay. They were trying to probe. They were trying to walk around what Oxlade-Chamberlain was trying to do. Trent and Robertson were being pushed back a little bit. You had Origi. They were trying to get involved with him. But as soon as Roberto Firmino comes on that pitch yesterday, these two boys always light up. And all of a sudden, there's an extra spring in the step. They are making more runs that they weren't making in the first 30. It's phenomenal. It's outrageous the way he plays football. Like he gets the through ball for Mane's second after robbing somebody in midfield. You know, that kind of way. This is your number 9 robbing the ball 45 yards from goal. Or your supposed number 9. Somebody said there earlier, that's why it's impossible to buy a backup. I feel it is. I don't know another player around that does this. I genuinely don't. If you can tell me if there is another one, go and tell me, but I don't think there is. Jimmy asks, and Matt, I'll give this one to you. I'll tell you what, I'll give it to Grizz while Matt's doing the stats. Grizz, Jimmy asks, could it be a case of looking for a different formation when Firmino doesn't play to try get the best out of the players that are on the pitch?
Well, we tried that last year, didn't we? We tried to vary it in terms of Mo being able to play through the middle. The setup in midfield being slightly different, sort of with a double pivot and then 3 behind the one, as opposed to just sort of, as opposed to the one,
in
the
front of the 2
and 3 ahead. So he's tried different variances of it. And we can't say it's not worked because we're still unbeaten, etc., and our record's still been amazing. But
I mean, we didn't have Bobby against Barca.
No, but that was a lot of people will say that was a one-off emotional freak type of thing that happens to us now and again. Well, it happens to us every year, but most teams, you couldn't say that was a consistent. You couldn't see that sort of formation and performance being carried out consistently without Bobby. And this is the slight issue I had with sort of the summer proceedings. It's been fantastic. 5 out of 5 Super Cup. We're fucking amazing. It's a privilege to be a Reds fan at the moment.
Grizz, Matt, I'm gonna make a statement here, and I reckon you're going to tell me to piss off, right? But can you hack it? LFC says Suarez is the closest to Bobby in that role. Matt, I don't think Suarez is effective in this team as Bobby is. You know what I mean? I think if you were to pick one of these players to go into this side, I don't think he's as effective as Firmino is.
I know where you're getting at. I think the dynamic of the team changes, and this kind of is a good segue into what Grizz was saying as well. So Grizz was saying how we perform without one of the front 3 or without Bobby, and we bring Divock Origi as. The problem isn't that Klopp doesn't have a system without Bobby. I don't think we have the personnel. We don't. It's too big of a drop off from Bobby to Divock, and I think that's the problem more than we don't have a system. So if it was Bobby to Suarez, then he would be a lot further forward. It wouldn't be the false 9 position. He would be at the pinpoint and would probably still be scoring 3-4, winning 3-4-1. So for me, I think it would, as a team, we'd still get the same outcome. We'd just go about it a different way.
Yeah, well, Mick says Suarez is too greedy to play like Bobby.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, I was just going to agree with Mick.
That's handy.
I think Suarez is not as team ethically motivated as a Bobby is.
I don't know. He
Suarez has got more, no. Let me finish. Suarez has got more Salah about him. As in, of course, he plays with the team and he'll get ridiculous amount of assists. But his mentality first and foremost, and there's nothing wrong with it because these are elite players, elite goal scorers. Sorry. So they think so. Where Mo's like Salah, Suarez, in terms of they would think goal first and then for the assist. Whereas Bobby plays the opposite. He does.
Yeah, I agree, but that's why you need, if you change the actual formation and the dynamic, then it would work.
Oh yeah, it would work definitely. He'll be an able sub for Bobby Luis Suarez.
Mick says buying Sancho would allow us to rotate that front three. He feels he'd fit in well.
I like him.
Mr. Bolognese, who's on YouTube watching, says
Havertz
or Volland is the closest, in my opinion.
You could throw Volland in the bin. Mate. Don't even come with the Volland shout.
Okay. Havertz is one that's being mentioned a couple of times. Matt,
don't ask me about Volland. I don't even know who he is.
I just either the one. I just thought
I
thought he misspelled Holland, to be perfectly honest with you. But Matt, the last bit on Bobby Firmino, and it's this outrageous touch again to put Salah and set him away for the third goal. And they've showed it from every angle they can possibly find. And every time I see it, I just think, you know, the thing that strikes me is the fear in the defender. The ball is there for the defender to go and win for that split second, and he's afraid of his life. But like you said, Matt, isn't it? It's just he's come back and he just has these touches that are just, it's just outrageous to watch. There's no other word for it.
Yeah, no question there. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I love him. He's my favourite player. He has been for a long time. I love the way he dresses.
Apart from
I love his hair
Moreno.
when he looks like a woman. And yeah, he's just when he comes back and he's got that samba. I mean, most players there would try and just first time flick it on.
Yeah.
99% of them do that. Yeah. He knows Salah's not ready. He needs to take that touch, just the extra half second to put him in the perfect position. And Salah doesn't even have to break stride. That's it. He's going through because of that extra touch.
That was the beauty of it. Yeah.
It was so good, so good. I mean, that lad was lying down on the floor, injured. I think he just dislocated his pride or something.
Yeah.
And that was it. He was just fucked. The whole team, they just knew that the three lads were on form today, and Bobby was just pulling the strings all over the place, and they had no chance.
If you watch it back, he takes the first touch and under the studs, and then he gives it. And if you watch the defender there, he's trying to anticipate, and it's the pace that Salah comes at with that first touch, and the guy is all over the shop. You know, I thought he was just going to take a big, massive swing and just, you know, absolutely just nail him in the box, but he didn't. And Salah just takes his time and slots it away. But Matt, I'll stay with you. Me and Grizz were very upset in the pub yesterday because Joel Matip didn't get a penalty. Now, VAR is something that we've all been fairly vocal about on this show at certain intervals. But Matt, how in the name of Jesus does that ball get played in and there's no review even of this situation? The guy, Lascelles, is all over him, arm around his neck, and there's no even review. And first of all, it's a disgrace that the ref doesn't give a penalty straight out. Am I missing something on VAR here, Matt? Am I missing something where the ref goes, no, I don't think that was a penalty, and they go, all right, no problem?
No, because I'm watching out here, so I watched on beIN Sports, and they said that they were reviewing it, and then they
if it was
decided.
Andy Gray, he probably said it was a free out, did he?
They said they were reviewing it, but it was no penalty.
I can't get my head around that. Like, is there any way you look at that and think it's not?
It was 100% penalty. The ref should have given it, the linesman should have given it, and VAR shouldn't have given it. If bringing a new technology in like VAR, there's going to be a lot of people which are against it. If you want to get them on board, you've got to make it work. You've got to make it work from the get-go.
I'll tell you what it is, Matt and Gav. I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is, in this country, they're still afraid of overruling and undermining the referee on the pitch. And that's what the issue is. Because he hadn't given it, they didn't want to make him look like he's made a mistake, and that's an awful way of going about VAR.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because Kevin Sullivan, as literally as you start that sentence, says the ref would have told VAR what he saw, and he didn't think it was a foul.
Yeah, and they're too afraid. Whoever the third referee or whoever the assistant referee or the one who's looking at the VAR is, I don't know if it's by sort of they've been told to favour the referee's decision, or to make it on a neutral basis point of view. Because if you just look at that from a neutral basis point of view and disregard the decision the referees made on the pitch, then that's a fucking penalty.
Well, 100% a penalty. It's not even like a 70-30. It's 100% penalty.
Mick says here they reviewed it and said the bar wasn't high enough to change the decision, says Mick.
Well, there you go, see? So therefore...
But he says, he follows that up with, but if it had been given, they wouldn't have changed it either. So they're doing nothing in this situation.
Right. So
they have the right decision that they're not passing to the referee. But if the referee makes that decision, they're going to agree with him.
Yeah, they're not overruling. They're not ready to undermine. They don't want to be looking to be undermining the referee on the pitch, which is an absolute awful way of doing VAR.
Well, that's the whole point of being VAR, yeah.
Yeah, because Kev O'Sullivan then says, Grizz, they've been told not to interfere. And Matt, you mentioned the linesman. Why isn't the linesman looking straight in at this? He sees a player approaching the goal and he's looking at side in on Lascelles and his arm is around his neck. Now listen, this isn't sour grapes because we won the game, but just a linesman looking in there, surely he has to say to the ref, that's a penalty. I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but that is a penalty. But again, he does nothing. So there's a lot of people doing nothing here, Matt.
Yeah, I think they just had money on Manning next scorer, and they know Salah takes penalties. It's the only way to explain it. It's a dead set.
I'm going to give it time. I think he'll be all right by next season. I think they'll rectify these issues and problems. We anticipate he's going to have issues and problems in the first year. I'm still a big fan of VAR. I just think, the way they implement it and sort of, it's going to take a few mad decisions like today's one and be highlighted in the press and media for them to change their mind and say, look, the guy in the fucking booth sitting and looking at VAR has to make his decision based on the video evidence, not based on the referee's first call.
Yeah, because like I just can't get my head around how somebody in a booth doesn't overrule him, but apparently would agree with him if he gave a penalty. That makes no sense whatsoever. A few people have mentioned the Shar tackle on Mane, the one in the second half, and he goes. I think he tries it twice, very close together. But would VAR look at that, Matt? Would VAR be looking at that and going, listen, he didn't make contact, but the intent was there? They obviously haven't because nothing comes of it. So there's a lot of grey areas starting to develop here, Matt.
No, I think VAR only looks at incidents in the penalty box or goal scoring incidents.
Okay, so they wouldn't be in the refs here saying, listen, you might want to look at that again, or we feel that. Okay.
No, that's my understanding anyway.
Okay.
Well, they do around Europe because I watch a lot of European football.
No, you don't.
And they do around Europe. Around Europe, they do look at 240 challenges and possible red cards. I'm not sure if they don't in this country, but I'll take Matt's on face value point of view.
Yeah. Chris says the referee needs to see VAR as part of their team. If VAR gives a pen, it's the same as the linesman seeing an offence. Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair point. Kev O'Sullivan says they do look at red card incidents. But look, all said and done, Liverpool win the game 3-1. I was really impressed with the second half, how controlled we were, and we got a couple of subs on and different things. Players got rests and whatever else. But Matt, with Man City dropping points yesterday, Liverpool have a 5-point lead on Man City and 7 points on a few teams coming up behind there. It's a huge time now, Matt, for Liverpool. You've Napoli away, followed by Chelsea away, followed by MK Dons away, then Sheffield United away. I think it's 4 games in a row we have away now, and then you're going to throw United on the horizon and stuff like that. But how big is it now, Matt, that I know it's only 5 games in, but to be 5 points clear after 5 games, is there any psychological advantage to this? Points are obviously an advantage, but is there a psychological advantage? And I'm asking that because Pep Guardiola couldn't help himself, but mentioned Liverpool after the defeat yesterday to Norwich.
Yeah, absolutely. Pep hates us. Pep hates us like the City fans hate us, and to me they're not even a rival. They're just up there at the moment. Psychologically, they know we are back this season, and we mean business. We're not a one season wonder, but like we have been in the past. We are just getting better and better and better as a team, and not only just in the off season, but during the season. We just improve all the time, and they have to keep their levels so high, and it must be so demoralising to them now, where they know a tiny little slip, and we just keep going, and we keep going. Now I don't know how long the party's out, but that defense of
talking
theirs
4 to
is
6
shocking.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2
Are
weeks.
they? I thought it was next week.
No.
Bone.
No, I heard it's a couple of months he's out for.
I know why. There's been a delay because of Brexit on horse placenta being delivered.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. I thought it was the pilot strike. They couldn't get the stuff into Barcelona quick enough with Ryanair.
But no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's going to get in their heads. They're going to be thinking about us. They're now playing catch up, and it's not a nice place to be.
Yeah. The big thing for that defeat yesterday to Norwich was I watched the highlights back, and those chances that City would usually take and scrape a draw and even a win, they were going straight at the keeper and stuff like that. You know, it was just one of those where
they were unlucky.
They were unlucky, but you see, that's
I know
that's
you
a
don't
bigger.
care.
That's
I
a
looked
big,
at the
yeah, but that's a bigger
XG,
and
and
the
they were
XG,
4 to 0.7 or something. So they were very, very unlucky.
Laporte is 6 months, says Kev O'Sullivan.
Stephen
Max
Max
says 6 months. January or February, says Dunno.
City
Listen,
can revive a dead person in 6 months. Fuck off. Just a fucking.
the best one I seen was Zinchenko when they played Spurs, and he went down, clearly done his hamstring, and he was back 90 seconds later. He recovered from a hamstring tear in 90 seconds. It was mad.
Magic sponge.
Oh, magic! I tell you, I don't know what's in it, but I think it's just, you know, if they were well beaten and you thought they've just had an off day, it was awful. You know, that's the way it goes. But to see them lose in that manner yesterday when they had loads of chances, and to see them being it wasn't 3 crackers they were beaten by. It was bad defence from the corner.
Yeah.
You know, a bad line for the second one, and the third one is just madness, absolute madness. You know, but to see that happen, I think it is slightly psychological. We can get at them, but Liverpool can only concentrate on themselves. Looking forward. Sorry, before we get off the game completely, Matt, your man of the match.
Bobby,
okay, fair. It's fair enough that. Gray's your man of the match.
Yeah, I've changed my mind. And I told you, Genie.
Yeah. No, you know what? We were both in the pub yesterday. Thought he was excellent. I'm being honest.
Oh, he was fucking excellent. He was brilliant. But Bobby just. Well, I'm not going to go with Bobby because Matt's gone with Bobby. I'll change it again, and I don't know. I watched the game back, and I didn't study it this time, but I just admired sort of Fabinho, and I thought he was absolutely outstanding, Gav. I just love him. I honestly, I was a big Mascherano fan, massive Mascherano fan, especially the way he played in his hunger and passion and desire. But the guy wasn't. He was limited. This guy has no limits. This guy is only going to get better and better and better. And as Matt says, he's kind of, after VVD, the first name you put on the sheet. You know, he's got to play majority of the games. And you know, again, yesterday he showed, rightly so, because Newcastle did try to dig it, you know, with us digging, and sort of he can handle the physical side. The amount of times he stopped their counter-attacks was amazing. I don't know if Matt could do a bit of research on that and how many times he stopped.
He's busy looking at Bear Camp. Give it over.
Oh, fucking hell. Fabinho. Yeah, I'm going to go with Fabinho. Just the unpopular choice.
All right. I'm going to go with Bobby Firmino as well. I thought Mane was brilliant after Firmino comes on. But I'm going to have to go with Firmino. I think he just turns it. As soon as he comes on, he turns the whole game. The way, our attitude, our pace of play, everything changes from the time he comes on. So I know he only plays, is it 60, 65, but I thought he was absolutely outrageous from start to finish. So for me, it's Firmino. Before we go, Matt, Tuesday night, Napoli away, Champions League. What result do you hope for, or what result would you take?
We'll be very professional and we'll get a 1-0.
Oh, I love it. Grizz, are you agreeing with that?
We're very professional. I've got no doubt with that. A lot of people are saying, we're probably going to rest a few. No chance. Klopp will not forget last season's performance at Napoli.
Absolutely
and
not.
He does pride himself on sort of pitting his wits against the best coaches in the world and sort of coming out on top. He loves that. And, you know, Ancelotti is one of the most legendary coaches out there. And I think he's going to want to put on is Ancelotti still the manager of Napoli? Yeah, I think
Maradona, mate.
He watches a lot of
European
football.
I do.
Yeah.
I'll take a draw out there, to be honest with you.
Danny Baker's 101 greatest Serie A goals. That's what Grizz watches. I'm going to go, and I'll agree with Chris. I'll take a point. I'll take a point now. No injuries. Get us back. Get going again. Chelsea away is a big game. I looked at the fixtures going forward to United, and
I'll take
points
in the games, as a success.
Well, somebody says there if we can get 7 or 10 points ahead of City, he thinks it's game over. I think if we can get this side of United, or get over United in late October. I think if we come out of that 5, 6, 7 points clear, I'll be even more confident than I was at the start of the season.
There's no game over yet. There's plenty of twists.
Jimmy Maguire says Napoli 1, Liverpool 3. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'd absolutely go with that all day long. But look, that's been the Fatback 4. We have to go. Matt has to go to bed. He is 8 hours ahead of us here. So we have to let him go to bed. But yeah, that's been us. Grizz, thanks a million for joining me.
No problem, mate.
Matt, sweet dreams.
Thanks, Gav.
Love you. Not even a love you too back. It's fucking outrageous. Okay, have a good one. Over now.